Hi, welcome back to our video series about the new Adaptive IPS feature released in Check Point's latest firewall software version release, R82.10. I'm Eitan Sofer from Check Point's Technical Marketing Engineering team, and this video will be a technical deep dive into Adaptive IPS's configuration and operation. Adaptive IPS in Check Point can be configured via the command line interface CLI using the conf_p_CLI tool. This tool allows administrators to manage and configure various settings, including Adaptive IPS, directly from the command line interface. Before we go ahead, you should understand that Check Point's Adaptive IPS has been designed with the intention of saving the security managers, admins, and analysts the pain of having to consider thousands of IPS protections in a granular level. But at the same time, it is very important to Check Point to empower these same people to have full control over their security posture and make any decision they deem right for their organization. So if you like to go into the nitty-gritty details of Adaptive IPS, please join my colleague, Roy Gershon, who will take you through the configuration parameters and commands.
Thank you, Eitan. The IPS protections are organized into three different groups. Each group is further divided into subgroups with values ranging from 1 to 5. The groups are confidence, performance impact, and severity. Each protection receives a value from 1 to 5, which is unique within the three parent groups, and that in turn determines the subgroup it belongs to. With this structure, excluding a specific subgroup becomes easy. For example, if you exclude confidence equals 4, then all protections assigned a value of 4 under the confidence group will be excluded from being disabled by the Adaptive IPS. We will start with the following command to identify the main configuration parameters. Follow me on the screen. That shows the IPS configuration parameters. The difference is the last word in the command. The first parameter is used to define the confidence level of IPS protections that should be excluded from enforcement. It allows administrators to exclude protections based on how confident the system is in identifying a threat accurately, which means the likelihood that a specific IPS protection will correctly identify and block a real threat. When this parameter is set to a specific value, protections with equal or greater than the value set will be excluded and not disabled by the Adaptive IPS. The second parameter is used to define the performance impact level of IPS protections that should be excluded from enforcement. It allows administrators to exclude protections based on how much system resources such as CPU and memory they consume when enabled. When this parameter is set to a specific value, protections with equal or greater than the value set will be excluded and not disabled by the Adaptive IPS. The last parameter is used to define the severity level of IPS protections that should be excluded from enforcement. It allows administrators to exclude protections based on the severity of the threats they are designed to mitigate. When this parameter is set to a specific value, protections with equal or greater than the value set will be excluded and not disabled by the Adaptive IPS. The value of these three parameters can be set to values from 1 to 5, while the default is set to 0. The following will show you an example of how changing the confidence parameters value. The command we will run is on the screen now. We will set the confidence to 1. This means that all protections with equal or higher severity level of 1 will be excluded from disabling by the Adaptive IPS. Now, we are confirming the change by checking the current value parameter. You can see that the current number is set is 1, which is the new value parameter, while the previous value presents the default value 0 before the change. You can of course run the same command we used to set the severity parameter and see that it has been set to 1, while all other parameters still have the default value of 0. Note, these actions are the same for the severity and performance parameters. All you need to do is to change the parameter name before the value to one of those two. Next, we will show you how to exclude some specific protections manually through the CLI. To do that, we need to check the protections name from the IPS protections list using the Smart Dashboard and then finding the ID of this protection via CLI. Open the Smart Dashboard and go to the Security Policies tab on the left menu under the Threat Prevention section. Go to Custom Policy and click on the IPS protections at the bottom under the Custom Policy Tools. This will open the list of the IPS protections. Choose the relevant protection and save the name of it. In this example, I will use the AA panel command injection protection. Back in our CLI window, we will run IPS to get the usage options. To get the ID of this protection, we need to use the command on the screen and the protection's name, which in this case is AA panel command injection. Now that we have the ID, we can use it with the following command to exclude this protection from being disabled by the Adaptive IPS. Let's verify it by using the Show Disable Protection command you can see on the screen now. We can see the excluded disabled protection list and that the excluded protection is in that list, which means the change was applied correctly. To disable this change for a specific protection or to all protections, run this command. In this case, we will reverse the previous action and by inputting the protection ID we used before, it will be excluded from the list that will trigger Adaptive IPS to disable. Let's verify that the change we made has been registered by running again the Show Excluded Protections. You can see that the Excluded Disabled Protection section is empty, which in turn means that the excluded protection configuration was disabled. This brings us to the end of the Adaptive IPS configuration using command line interface. Our next episode will show how it's done, but this time using Gaia API. You can also look for more technical video series on our Check Point Center YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you soon.